Welcome to episode 15 of Learning with Lyndon. In today's episode, we are making a sliding gate at the front of my place, but this is just not any project. This is a pretty special one for me. Features both my father-in-law and my late father. A hard one to edit. There's not going to be too many more of these as episodes go forward. So I am somewhat enjoying looking back, but it's still difficult. Now, in today's episode, we are putting together the concrete foundation for the sliding gate and building the gate from scratch, along with putting all the pickets on, everything like that. Now, in a fast-paced job like a concrete pour, it does make it a little bit difficult to sort of stop and smell the roses, but looking back on this in hindsight, this is some fantastic quality time that I had with my dad that obviously I'm never getting back. So what I'm trying to say is, if you can find a small way to remind yourself on a daily basis that these little moments are the ones that you're going to look back on and reminisce over and miss and cherish. I think, speaking for myself at least, you end up enjoying every day and every moment just a little bit more. I'm not very good at it, but if you can find a way to remind yourself, go ahead and do it. So we've had the concrete pour. I'm now just leveling it out. It was great to have my dad around for this. He was a very patient person, and to have that level-headedness around while I'm running about, almost dropping wheelbarrows of concrete, invaluable looking back. Now, the next step that I had to do was to actually build the gate itself from scratch. I decided to make the frame of the gate out of aluminium, so it wouldn't rust or warp or anything like that, because all the old jarrah is just going to be a pain, and I wanted to make it as maintenance-free as possible. Plus, I happen to know someone who can weld aluminium, so that was great. I don't remember if I made the design myself, but essentially it's a box with a few bits of some supports on either side, and when I gave all the bits that I cut here, I was able to cut it using just a normal drop saw because aluminium is quite soft. Do use a lubricant, so it just helps to keep the temperature down while you're dropping the drop saw, and go slowly with it, of course. So when I did give all the bits to my friend who can weld aluminium, I just made sure to make a very detailed diagram of which piece went where, and I numbered them and gave him, and that was fantastic. But we are now to the exciting part, which is getting the front gate in. Now we have the front rolling gate. I've got to decide where I put the wheels now, get it rolling, get it attached and adjusted. I'll take you along. Once I got the gate back from my friend, I put some wheels on the bottom of it, and then I had it just with the level on it, trying to get it perfectly level, so it's going back and forward and it's completely horizontal. This took a lot of time. Next step was to screw down the actual motor, get that in a line, or get it roughly in the right spot, and then attach the little cogged track that went on the bottom of the gate. This is so that you can actually physically move it forward and back. It's what connects it, and the way I aligned it properly, because my slab was not poured perfectly horizontal, I got the gate to the right spot, put the piece there, marked the holes, and then moved it off and attached the cogged piece onto the bottom of the track. Alright, we have 8% battery left on the GoPro, but I have finished the initial install of the gate, which I'm pretty stoked on. I still need to be attaching pickets, of course, and painting it. That's all to come. Also going to have a PowerPoint run down there. It works and doesn't get stuck. Yeah, pretty happy. Now, time for painting the aluminium. This is my least favourite job. You do need to have a bit of a primer on the metal first, and then it's a time to attach the pickets. Now, I could have used a string line, which is what I should have done, but instead I used a level, and I put one picket on the right height, used the previous one as a reference, and then stuck the next picket on. This took forever, and it didn't work because my driveway slopes at a certain angle and the pickets now look like they're rising up, but it was close enough. The next piece was to add a little support from the actual fence line over the top of the sliding gate to the main post that's holding the guide for the gate. And this I just found a random piece of jarrah, painted it and attached it. Took me a lot longer than that, but that's what we did. As for the pickets that were going on the whole fence line, I cannot take credit for restoring them. These are all the original pickets from the house. They're jarrah, they're solid, and I didn't want to buy new ones. Most of them were absolutely fine. We had to cut a little bit off the bottom of some of them. So what I did was give them all to my father-in-law, and he sanded every single one by hand and repainted them. He then brought them back to me and helped me put them on, and when they were on, he did a second and a third coat of the whole fence line. It took days and days and days of time, so I do thank him for that. Final step was to put in a finishing post, so it had something to actually stick to on the other side or be supported by. And it's done. I could not be happy with how it's turned out. It almost looks like a professional's done it. Not quite, but for me, close enough. And editing this from the future, as I am, I can tell you in 3 years' time, it is still working. I'm stoked. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.